my little ghosts in the back row of society's courtroom. The one with the heavy silence nobody dares to question. The one who walks around like nothing ever happened, even though everything did to you. Welcome, you beautiful disasters. Welcome to the show they tried to cancel before you ever stepped on stage. You see, you're not broken, you're documented. I can smell it on you. The stench of false guilt, that twisted perfume of survival mixed with betrayal. Like you've been apologizing for things your shadow never even touched. Tell me, when did your name become evidence? When did your kindness become the motive? When did your silence become a confession? They built the case against you out of dust and whispers. They put chains on your spirit with nothing but rumors. And it worked. 9 fucking years. 9 years of dodging questions you never had the answers to. 9 years of waking up and remembering, this is still your face. This is still your name. This is still your sentence, even though there was no crime. Let me read your energy for a second. You don't speak much anymore. You laugh in short bursts, almost like you're checking if it's still legal to feel joy. You've mastered the art of nodding while dying inside. You've made shrinking look graceful, but I see it. That rage you never gave permission to grow. That fire that kept getting smothered by every, just forget about it. Maybe they were confused. Try to move on. Move on, move on. As if you're carrying a scratch. You're dragging a whole fucking war zone behind you. You've been hunted, not haunted, chased, marked, targeted for being the one thing this world fears the most, innocent and awake. You became a mirror, didn't you? And when people looked at you, they didn't see you. They saw everything they were guilty of. And that made you dangerous. That made you the threat. Because if someone like you could exist, what excuse would they have left? So they spun the narrative, flipped the script, painted you with shadows until your own reflection didn't recognize you. And you let them, because deep down, some part of you thought, if I just stay quiet, if I just play nice, this will all go away. But it didn't, because they weren't after justice. They were after control, and you slipped through the cracks too many times. You survived when you were supposed to collapse. You smiled when you were supposed to beg. You healed in secret when they needed you to stay bleeding in public. And still, you stayed. You kept showing up with your hands empty, while they kept checking you for weapons you never carried. Let me guess. You stopped telling people how bad it really was, because their faces couldn't hold the weight of your truth. Because it couldn't have been that bad, right? Because there's no way they did all that to you, right? Because your story sounded too real to be real. But I'm not them. I'm not here to make you small enough to swallow. I'm here to spit gasoline on that voice in your gut that never shut up. The one that whispered, you didn't deserve any of it. The one that said, they were wrong about you. All of them. The one they tried to surgically remove with silence, shame, and suspicion. And yet, here, you are, breathing like you weren't supposed to make it this far. Smirking like your name ain't scorched into 100 lies. Existing in a body that's been exiled but never conquered. 9 years, 9 winters, 9 fecking calendars full of people forgetting how to say sorry, while you kept rewriting your pain into patience. Let them call you obsessed. Let them say you're still stuck on it. They don't know what it's like to be hunted for nothing. They don't know the weight of innocence when it becomes a crime scene. And I bet you think this is all coincidence, that it just happened this way, that life just got confused and took it out on you. Nah, this was deliberate, calculated, a chess game where you weren't even supposed to be a piece. But you moved anyway. You moved anyway. You want to know the funny part? The world kept waiting for you to break, to fold, to disappear into the narrative they built. And yet, you kept existing like a glitch in their little system. You kept being real in a world allergic to truth. You kept waking up, and that scared the living show out of them. You kept waking up, and that scared the living show out of them. Because people like you don't die the way they expect. You rot beautifully. You decay into awareness. You learn how to weaponize your wounds, and every scar they gave you starts whispering proof. They tried to make you doubt your own timeline, gaslighted your memories until you questioned the smell of your own past. You remember that, don't you? The confusion that felt like drowning in invisible hands. Every time you tried to speak your truth, they'd tilt their heads and smile like you were crazy. But that smile wasn't disbelief. It was fear. Because deep down, they knew the truth could tear down everything they built. You weren't losing your mind. You were shedding the illusions they hung over you. And that process, it looks insane from the outside. When a caged mind starts breaking open, the world mistakes freedom for madness. That's what you became, a walking contradiction of their design. Too aware to control, too wounded to destroy. You carry that look now. I can see it. That stillness that makes people uncomfortable. That calm that comes after surviving too much. You don't even argue anymore. You just know. You've stopped trying to convince anyone. Because you realized truth doesn't beg to be believed. It waits patiently. It sits behind your eyes like a loaded gun, watching, listening, remembering. And it remembers everything, doesn't it? The betrayal. The nights you stayed awake wondering if they were right about you. The way your reflection started looking guilty. The way your body flinched when someone said your name too loudly. You turned paranoia into an art form just to stay alive in a story that never belonged to you. You started studying people, every tone, every blink, every twitch of the mouth. Because survival taught you psychology better than any textbook ever could. You learned that people don't lie with their words. They lie with their energy. And that's why you stopped trusting smiles. That's why small talk makes your skin itch. You see too much now. You read the tremors in a voice before the sentence even ends. You catch the betrayal before it's spoken. That's what they created, a hyper-aware version of you. And they thought they broke you. They didn't realize they upgraded you. You went from naive to nuclear, from harmless to haunting, from soft-spoken to psychologically armed. Every year they hunted you, something inside you adapted. You grew fangs in places they didn't think you had teeth. You learned to smile like nothing's wrong while plotting your emotional resurrection. And somewhere along the way, you stopped needing their validation. You stopped begging to be understood. You just watched. Watched them perform their fake innocence. Watch them congratulate each other for surviving you. Watch them build their reputations on the ruins of your name. And through it all, you just kept walking. Through smoke, through silence, through the disbelief that you could still exist. Because that's the ultimate revenge, isn't it? Not screaming, not proving, just being. Being the contradiction that shouldn't exist. Being the one they couldn't erase. You ever notice how quiet it got? How the world that once screamed your name suddenly pretended you didn't exist. That's not peace. That's strategy. They don't talk about you anymore because your silence became too loud. Because every word they say about you still tastes like guilt. Because deep down, they know they built their safety on your suffering. And it's starting to crack. You feel it too. The shift. The way the air changes when truth starts to crawl back into the room. It's slow, it's subtle, but it's there. You can sense it behind your ribs, like an old storm remembering where to strike. Your intuition has turned prophetic. You can sense lies the way animals sense earthquakes. And that's what makes you dangerous now. You've become untouchable. Not because you're invincible, but because you've already been destroyed once. And nothing about the second time scares you. That's what they never understood. They thought breaking you would end you. But pain doesn't erase people like you. It remakes them. It remolds your soul into something sharper. You start laughing at pain. You start collecting it like evidence. You turn it into architecture. Every heartbreak becomes a wall. Every betrayal a pillar. Every humiliation a staircase leading out of the fire. And you kept climbing. Even with blood on your hands that wasn't yours. Even with the weight of 9 fecking years of accusations and absence and echoing silence. You climbed with no applause, no reassurance, no audience. Just that inner whisper. The one they tried to drown, but couldn't. The one that said, you were never the villain. You're not here to prove your innocence anymore. You're here to embody it. You're not here to forgive them. You're here to outlast them. Because you already have. You're still breathing in a world that built your coffin before you even sinned. And that, my dear, that's the sweetest kind of vengeance there is. That's the sweetest kind of vengeance there is. And yet, you still catch yourself flinching when people speak kindly. You still brace for impact when someone reaches out their hand. Because somewhere in your nervous system, you're still waiting for the trap door. You've been conditioned like a hunted animal. Reward equals punishment. Comfort equals betrayal. Hope equals another setup. They trained you to expect loss. Not in one big moment, no. They were patient. It was death by erosion, little betrayals, tiny cuts. The kind of wounds that bleed emotionally, not visibly. The kind that make you question your own capacity for joy. Because when you've been blamed for something you never did, and punished for it for 9 whole years, you stop dreaming in color. You start filtering your thoughts through the lens of, what if they twist this, too? You catch yourself editing your own truth before it ever leaves your mouth. And that's the part that should have broken you. Right? But it didn't. You adapted. You evolved into a creature built for psychological war. You know what you became? A walking contradiction. Soft voice, heavy history, gentle eyes, battlefield soul. You became someone people felt before they understood. You'd walk into a room and the energy would shift. Not because you said anything, but because you carried the weight of years no one dared ask about. You made people uncomfortable with nothing but your presence. And it's not because you're dark, it's because you're real. And real makes cowards sweat. Real triggers shame in people still pretending. Real pulls the mask off without touching it. And that's why they tried to cage you. Not because you were dangerous, but because you reflected the danger in them. Every time you spoke your truth, it cracked open their carefully curated illusions. You started fires just by existing, not the chaotic kind. No, not anymore. The quiet kind. The kind that burns without flames. The kind that makes people confess to things you never asked about. That's power. The kind they'll never give you credit for, because giving you credit means admitting what they did. It means acknowledging the story they tried to bury, the one where you were the hero, not the villain, And yet you've carried both titles, worn both masks. You've been the monster in their gossip and the martyr in your own silence. You've cried in bathrooms, smiled at funerals, laughed at your own rock bottoms just to survive another day of pretending everything's fine. It wasn't fine. It was war. A slow, psychological slaughter. And the battlefield was always your own mind. You started questioning whether healing was even worth it, because every time you tried, someone came back swinging. You learned not to celebrate too loudly. You kept your joy in shadows, because you knew happiness made you visible, and visibility made you vulnerable. But something in you didn't die, and that's the part they'll never understand. They thought guilt would rot you from the inside. They thought shame would silence you. They thought isolation would crush you. But instead, you mutated. You grew teeth in your thoughts. You wrapped your trauma in sarcasm, folded your grief into jokes too dark for normal people. You became the punchline and the prophecy. You started speaking in riddles, not because you wanted to confuse people, but because your truth was too complex for the surface-level minds that hurt you. You became fluent in pain, fluent in reading what people aren't saying, fluent in recognizing when someone's only hugging you to feel better about themselves. You know the language of betrayal. It lives under your tongue like a second voice. And every time you open your mouth, you choose which version of yourself gets to speak. Not because you're fake, because you've been studied like a crime scene. You had to become the forensics expert of your own life. Even your memories were put on trial. You'd tell your story and watch their eyes glaze over and silence. That's complicity wearing perfume. They don't talk about that part, do they? They talk about how you changed, about how you're not the same anymore. Of course you're not the same. How could you be? You buried a version of yourself no one even knew was dying. You gave eulogies for parts of your spirit in rooms where no one noticed you were grieving. You mourned in advance, because you already knew the ending before the story was even told. You've always known. There's this look you get now. When people ask you things like, "How have you been?" You smile, polite, automatic. But behind your eyes, there's a whole museum of wreckage, memories archived in silence, lies laminated into facts, and yet you still show up, still walk into rooms, still answer the question, because somewhere deep beneath all the war and weather and wasted years, something unkillable still breathes in you. It doesn't shout, it doesn't scream, it watches and waits, and remembers every goddamn name. It watches and waits and remembers every goddamn name. Not out of revenge, not in the cartoonish, the bloodthirsty way they expect, but in silence, with that slow burn stare that says, "I saw everything. I forgot nothing. I survived all of it." There's a strange kind of power in that, the kind of power they can't measure, because it doesn't wear a crown or carry a sword. It sits in your bones. It breathes in your pauses. It hides behind your calm demeanor, while your soul sharpens its knives. You stopped reacting. You started studying. That's when everything shifted. Because the moment you stopped explaining yourself, they lost access to the version of you they could control. You stopped correcting their lies. You let them speak. Let them build their stories. Let them wrap themselves in fiction. Because truth doesn't chase liars. It buries them in time. And time, oh, time has been your most loyal accomplice. 9 years, 9 cycles of becoming, of cracking open and sealing shut, of watching people switch up, switch sides, switch masks, until your trust stopped being a door and became a mirror. You don't open up anymore. You reflect. And people hate that. They hate being seen without their disguise on. You can feel it, can't you? How people hesitate around you. How they avoid eye contact, like you're staring through them. Because you are. Because you see it all now. The guilt tucked behind their jokes. The fear trembling underneath their just checking in messages. They want to know what version of you survived. They want to know if the quiet one they ruined is the same one they'll have to face now. But you're not quiet anymore. You're surgical. You've become the kind of presence that makes the truth uncomfortable. Not loud, not dramatic, just undeniable. You don't expose people with words. You do it with energy. With that calm that feels like a storm is thinking. You don't need to speak rage. You radiate it, controlled, contained, compressed into something colder than fire. That's what trauma taught you. How to hold 1,000 screams in your throat and still say, I'm fine, without blinking. How to stand in rooms filled with people who let you burn and pretend it doesn't smell like smoke. How to carry the ashes of your own reputation without asking anyone to help you sweep. They think you're bitter. You're not bitter. You're awake. There's a difference. Bitterness is loud and chaotic. Awakening is silent and strategic. It's choosing your battles, not because you're scared, but because you've outgrown the need to prove you were right. And you were right. You know that now. The things they said you imagined. You remember the looks, the timing, the passive comments that came right after your victories. The way they tried to diminish you the moment you stood a little taller. The praise that felt like poison. The jokes that weren't funny. You remember every subtle assassination of your character dressed up as concern. And that memory, it's clean, it's clear, it's carved into your awareness like scripture. You've learned to smile at the very people who dragged your name through the dirt. Not because you've forgiven them, but because you don't owe them anything. Not anger, not closure, not access. They think your silence is weakness. It's not. It's mercy. The last thread of restraint you haven't let snap. Yet. Because part of you knows they wouldn't survive the truth if you told it raw. Not the watered down version, not the digestible edit, the real truth. The one that would set your story on fire and leave their lies in ashes. But you don't need to speak it. You're already living it. Every step you take is a rebuttal. Every breath is evidence. You walking through this world without bitterness is the loudest scream they'll ever hear. And it's been 9 years. 9 years of watching them thrive on your downfall. 9 years of them laughing louder every time you faded into silence. 9 years of shrinking, of fading, of shape-shifting into someone just safe enough to avoid being punished again. But that version of you, that soft, apologetic, half-alive version of you, they don't get to keep it anymore. You've been kind long enough. You've been quiet long enough. You've swallowed your own story just to protect people who'd sell your name for applause. You've buried your outrage beneath your manners. And still, they called you angry. You gave them compassion in return for judgment. They labeled it unstable. You isolated to avoid hurting anyone. They said you were cold. Hello to the ones who see too much and say too little, and to the ones who feel the storm before it breaks, who twitch when the silence drags too long, who watch the world play dumb while their bones scream that something ain't right. Ah, yes, you. You're not paranoid, you're not too sensitive, you're not broken, you're awake. But here's the kicker. They hired people to watch you. Oh, not with clipboards and coats and comforting smiles. No, no. No stethoscopes or psychoanalysis or tidy little charts. I'm talking about watchers, observers, whisper collectors, cameras dressed as friends, algorithms disguised as love, institutions cosplaying as protectors. And do you know what every single one of them is saying? They're screaming the same damn warning. They're waking up. Shut it down. This one's starting to think. Too loud, too curious, too untamed. Make them smaller again. But no one's listening. You ever feel that? That pressure in your chest when you walk into a room and everyone's smiling, but it's plastic? That itch in the back of your skull, like you're the only one hearing the fire alarm. You're not crazy. You're the frequency they can't mute. And let me tell you something. When the watchers start to whisper the same warning, it means you're touching something real. Too real. They didn't expect you to ask questions. They programmed you for compliance, not clarity. They trained you on loops, routine, ritual, rinse, repeat. They fed you dopamine like breadcrumbs, leading you deeper into their labyrinth of distraction. But you stopped swallowing. You stopped smiling when it hurt. You stopped apologizing for your intensity. You started to see. And that makes you dangerous. They want you distracted, not divine. Obedient, not observant. Numb, not nuclear. You're not supposed to feel this much. You're not supposed to lie in bed at 2:47 a.m. dissecting the way your manager looked at you, or why your partner's laugh sounded hollow, or why your phone keeps showing you ads about depression after that one bad day you didn't post about. But you do, and you see, and they know. So now they send in the masks. Watch them. They'll look like help, like love, like logic. They'll drape themselves in credentials they bought from the same place that sells truth by the pound. Cheap and mass-produced. They'll say, calm down, you're overthinking. They'll say, everyone feels this way. They'll say, it's just stress. They'll hand you labels like life jackets and then toss you into oceans they built. But what they're really doing is trying to clip your wings before you remember you had them. Because here's the thing no one wants to admit. You were built to break the cage. You were born allergic to lies. You were made of questions stitched into skin. You were never supposed to blend in. You, yeah, you. You have always been too much for a world addicted to numbing. Your rage, divine. Your sadness, sacred. Your clarity, catastrophic to their machine. And they know it. So they label you threat, outlier, problematic, rebellious, paranoid. Conspiracy theorist, they whisper with a smirk when all you did was connect the dots that were already there. You ever wonder why your childhood felt like war? Why you kept getting in trouble for telling the truth? Why silence always burned more than sound? Because the game started long before you knew the rules. And the moment you cracked open your eyes, they started rewriting them. They rewrote what it means to be safe. They made comfort into currency. They taught you to trade instinct for insurance. They told you maturity means mutilating your wonder. And every time you flinched at injustice, they said, grow up. Every time you asked, why? They replied, because I said so. Every time you noticed the cracks, they painted over them and called you negative. But underneath their edits, your original blueprint survived. See, there's a version of you, feral, full spectrum, unfiltered, that's been pounding on the inside of your ribs for years. You've glimpsed them in mirrors, in meltdowns, in music. You felt them during heartbreaks, so raw they peeled your soul open like fruit. You've met them in dreams, in laughter that startled you, in moments when the system forgot to sedate you. That version, that's the real you, the one they're afraid of, the one all their watchers are tracking, the one they whisper about when they think you're not listening. That you isn't polite, isn't soft, isn't easy to market, that you doesn't scroll past suffering, doesn't believe in coincidence, doesn't tolerate watered-down existence, that you is remembering. And every time you shiver for no reason, every time your stomach drops in a room that feels off, every time your breath shortens around smiling liars, that is your internal warning system screaming back at you. But here's where it gets real interesting. You think you're the only one. You think everyone else bought the lie and you're the last glitch in the matrix. You think you're losing your mind when really you're just finding it under all the programming. Listen closely. You are not alone. You are not broken. You are not overreacting. You're responding to a sickness they've normalized. You're allergic to illusion. You're reacting to the rot. You're feeling what everyone else is afraid to name. And while they mock you, medicate you, mute you, their own employees are screaming. Psychologists, teachers, coders, clergy, nurses, analysts, all of them watching people like you and scribbling the same phrase again and again in their private notes. They're waking up. They're starting to ask the wrong questions. They see through the performance. We can't control this one much longer. And what happens when enough people hear that echo? The system starts glitching. The facade flickers. The actors stutter. The perfect little algorithms can't predict the chaos of an authentic soul. Because here's the secret no one wants to admit. Your truth is contagious. You being fully you infects others with the impulse to break character. Your refusal to smile through madness gives others permission to scream. Your eye contact rattles liars. Your presence ruins rehearsed scripts. You are the collapse of every script that kept this charade alive, and they know it. That's why they're watching. That's why they're afraid. You ever wonder why your life keeps falling apart just when you start to feel something real? That's not coincidence. That's sabotage. Every time you feel close to remembering who you really are, something shows up to derail you. An old trauma, a new distraction, a betrayal, a temptation, patterns, patterns, patterns. You're in the middle of psychological warfare disguised as normal life, a spiritual battle dressed up as capitalism, a soul reclamation buried under deadlines, debt, and dopamine hits. But there's a you that can't be bought. There's a you they can't label, can't locate, can't lock down. The one that doesn't need evidence to know. The one that doesn't need permission to burn. The one whose gaze makes even liars sweat. And right now, that version of you is pushing forward. You feel it, don't you? The itch in your skin when someone lies to your face. The way your throat tightens when you swallow your truth. The fire in your gut when someone calls you crazy for simply knowing. That's not weakness. That's your siren call. That's your soul preparing for war. Not with guns, not with politics, not with rage, but with remembrance. You don't need to overthrow anything. Just become fully yourself. That alone is mutiny. That alone is revolution. Because you are not here to be liked. You are not here to fit in. You are not here to make others comfortable. You are here to disturb the narrative, to make the invisible visible, to name the unnamed, to speak the unspeakable. You are here to make liars sweat and sleepers stir and cages rattle just by being alive. And baby, they feel you coming. Every watcher they hired is screaming. But the system is covering its ears, because once you hear the truth in your own bones, once you trust the voice behind your ribcage more than the static on their screens, touch, you. Now breathe. That tremble in your hands, that's power returning. That sting behind your eyes, that's clarity. That beat in your chest, that's your own damn drum. And it's getting louder. Don't dull it. Don't shove it down like they taught you to. That beat in your chest, that isn't just blood moving. That's memory. That's myth. That's the original rhythm they tried to drown with notifications, promotions, fear-based affirmations, and half-baked affirmations taped to mirrors that never reflected the real you anyway. And that tremble in your jaw when you're trying not to scream in meetings, in churches, in classrooms, in bedrooms where you no longer recognize your reflection. That's your voice trying to claw its way back to the surface. It was never lost, just buried. Beneath obedience, beneath trauma, beneath every time you traded your intuition for applause. You remember that moment. Don't pretend you don't. The moment the light in your eyes dimmed just enough for them to celebrate your growth. The moment you said yes when everything in you was howling no. The moment you smiled at the predator to survive another day, and they mistook your silence for submission. But something broke that day, didn't it? Not in a tragic way, no, in a sacred way. A rupture, a crack, a divine malfunction in their machinery. They celebrated your compliance while your real self slipped underground and started sharpening its teeth in the dark. Waiting for this moment. Because here's the part they never calculated for. You don't forget how to burn. And when it wakes up inside someone who's been told they're too emotional, too intense, too complicated, too loud, too much, it doesn't just warm, it consumes. Because what they call too much is really too honest, too raw, too free to obey. And those people they hired to watch you, oh, they see it. That twitch in your eye when someone lies. That stillness in your body when someone tries to manipulate you. That quiet, sharpened clarity that shows up the second they think they've got you boxed in. They see it, and they can't stop it. You're becoming unrecognizable to the system. You're no longer seduced by the prizes they offer for selling your soul. You're no longer chasing promotions built on pretending. You're no longer swallowing the shame they spoon-fed you and calling it self-awareness. You're asking the wrong questions. Questions like, who benefits when I doubt myself? Why do I only feel peace when I'm alone? Why do I get punished for being honest and rewarded for being numb? And just like that, you start slipping through their fingers. You become a glitch, and glitches multiply. Because when someone like you refuses to keep playing the role, you remind everyone else that they're actors too. You force the cast to question the script. You make the director nervous. You make the audience lean forward in their seats, suddenly unsure if what they're watching is a performance or a confession. You don't need to start a rebellion. You are one. Every time you tell the truth when it's easier to lie. Every time you rest when capitalism calls it lazy. Every time you cry in public and don't apologize. Every time you say, I don't know. Instead of faking competence, you're breaking spells. You're making invisible chains visible. And those watchers, those ones they trained to track your movements, your thoughts, your biometric signals and eye dilations and hesitation patterns. They're panicking because they were trained to monitor compliance, not awakening. And you, my friend, you are erupting, your laugh, weaponized, your grief, radioactive, your gaze, interrogation. You're not just a disruption, you're a prophecy they tried to edit out of history. But history has a funny way of showing up late, feral, uninvited, and absolutely on fire. You're remembering things you were never taught. You're reclaiming stories you were told never belonged to you. You're translating silence into symphonies, and every whisper you speak out loud unhooks another bolt from the cage. They don't know what to do with that. With you, you're not reacting anymore. You're responding, and that's scarier, because reactions they can predict, manipulate, channel, monetize. But responses, rooted responses, they come from the part of you they can't touch, the part that doesn't flinch when they use fear, the part that's already survived worse than their threats, the part that doesn't need external permission to exist, because it was never born for permission. It was born for presence. It was born for piercing. It was born for pulling the veil off the world and showing the bones underneath. And you're doing it just by standing there, just by refusing to shrink, just by saying, "That doesn't feel true," and walking away. No spectacle, no argument, no scene, just clarity. They're not used to that. They expected anger, meltdowns, overreactions. They didn't expect precision. They didn't expect someone who could smile in the face of gaslighting and say, "That's not my reality." They didn't expect resistance without performance. But here you are, unfolding, not performing, not pleasing, not posturing, just being. And for a world built on fantasy and fiction and forced forgetting, your authenticity is an earthquake. Every step you take in your truth ruptures centuries of silence. Every breath you take that isn't conditioned, coerced, or commodified is a spell broken. They thought they could distract you forever. They thought you'd keep scrolling. They thought you'd keep doubting the shiver in your spine when something was off. They thought you'd keep confusing your symptoms with your identity, but you're not buying it anymore. You're not sedated by slogans, not softened by shame, not silenced by should you're hearing the scream beneath the static, and you're not turning it down. Not this time. They don't get to rewrite you again, not when you're writing yourself back in, not when you're bleeding your truth into every sentence like scripture carved in fire. Because what they fear most isn't rebellion, isn't anarchy, isn't even chaos. It's coherence. It's someone like you, remembering who they are and not apologizing for it. They scramble when coherence walks in, not because it's loud, because it doesn't need to be, because it doesn't beg, doesn't flail, doesn't plead for belief. It just is. And you, standing there, spine aligned with something older than language, older than fear, older than the performance of survival itself. You're starting to embody it, not fake power, not cosmetic confidence, not curated charisma wrapped in buzzwords and filtered selfies, but unshakable knowing. You don't even have to say it. It radiates. It warps the room. It silences liars without a word. It forces the hidden hands to twitch. Because there is nothing more terrifying to a system built on denial than a soul who remembers the way their body tensed before the betrayal, who remembers the silence that always came before control, who remembers how truth feels, even when the facts are rearranged to hide it. That kind of remembering can't be undone. You think those watchers still report to their masters? Some do, but more and more, they're looking at you and questioning everything they were told about you. They're watching your resistance with envy, because they weren't hired to protect you. They were hired to prevent the awakening from spreading. But you made them feel again. And feeling is a virus. It spreads through the cracks. It seeps into the sterile. It turns observers into allies, and allies into accomplices, and accomplices into flames. That's what you are. Not a personality, not a performance, not a case study, a flame. And flames don't ask permission to burn. They don't file for permits or wait for understanding. They just devour what's rotten, illuminate what's hidden, warm the frozen parts of the world until they start to move again. You're not reforming the system, you're infecting it with truth. Just by refusing to forget. Just by daring to exist outside the script. And yes, they'll try to slap a label on it. Disorder, rebellion, delusion, trauma response. But they're behind the curve now. You've already gone off map. You've stopped performing sanity for people who are addicted to dysfunction. You've stopped making yourself digestible for systems that were built to consume you. You've stopped asking for clarity from people who benefit from your confusion. And once that shift happens, the watchers can't keep up. Because they were taught to monitor behavior, not essence. They were trained to track symptoms, not soul. They were taught to silence storms, not listen to thunder. But you're speaking in thunder now. In earthquakes, in glances that turn rooms electric, in choices that say, I don't play dead for comfort anymore. And when you do that, it forces everything around you to recalibrate. Suddenly the gaslighters stutter, the manipulators stall, the liars forget their lines. The fake friends reveal themselves through micro-exits, fake laughs, hollow praise. And the watchers, they start documenting it. Every shift, every glitch, every soul that slips through their nets and turns the tide. They're archiving your evolution like it's a security breach, because it is. You are an unauthorized miracle, a leak in the narrative, a pulse in the machine, a soul that refuses sedation. And once you awaken others. Not with slogans, not with fury, but with presence. That's the part they still don't get. They thought this was about protest, about shouting, smashing, screaming. But this isn't Raj for show. This isn't rebellion for aesthetics. This is a reckoning of resonance. You don't need a soapbox. You are the sermon. Your breath is a broadcast. Your body is a message. Your stillness is a siren. Because every time you exist in your truth without collapsing, without begging to be understood, without twisting yourself into compliance, you break another spell. And that ripple is irreversible. It reaches the kid watching quietly from the corner, who sees you not folding and whispers, maybe I don't have to either. It reaches the worker staring out the office window, wondering why they feel like they're dying inside a suit that doesn't fit. It reaches the lover faking peace in a relationship built on pretending. It reaches the teacher grading papers while mourning the dreams they were told to abandon. Your coherence becomes their permission slip. Because you stopped asking for one. Because you didn't wait for the green light. Because you turned the red flags into road signs and drove anyway. That's what they never prepared for. They planned for rebellion. They didn't plan for remembrance. They didn't expect people like you to show up and start remembering out loud. Not in essays, not in speeches, not in textbooks, but in your walk, your tone, your eye contact, your pause when something feels wrong, your refusal to be gaslit out of your own intuition. You've become a walking glitch in their simulation. You're not reacting anymore. You're reframing. You're not asking, what's wrong with me? But what's wrong with this environment that doesn't allow truth? You're not asking, why do I feel too much? But why did they numb me in the first place? You're not apologizing for your sensitivity. You're weaponizing it.